I come to you this afternoon because comprehension skills seem to be very, very lacking. We're going to talk about Brandon Aiyuk and why people shouldn't be freaking out about him, especially based on what Kyle Shanahan is actually saying. I just saw so many quotes taken out of context after Kyle Shanahan spoke in West Virginia on this Wednesday afternoon. So I just have to bring this up right here. This is the exact Kyle Shanahan quote. And I've color coded some important stuff in there because reading in context is very important. For background, those of you who don't know, there is a mistaken thought that Brandon Aiyuk is in Kyle Shanahan's doghouse because he got an equal amount of reps as Trent Sherfield and wasn't targeted this past Sunday. However, the truth is that Brandon Aiyuk was dealing with a hamstring injury throughout the latter part of the preseason. Because of that, he hasn't been able to develop the same on-field practice rapport as other receivers, such as Trent Sherfield, who's been very good with the 49ers quarterbacks. And because of that, Brandon Aiyuk just wasn't as big of a part of the 49ers game plan in week one. I mean, this is 1 + 1 = 2 kind of stuff, but people love drama. People love to make stuff conspiratorial. And because of that, we have to go back to what Kyle Shanahan actually said. So I'm going to read through this. Anytime you have a setback with a hamstring, and I bold that right here, setback with a hamstring, because I bold every single time that Kyle Shanahan brings up the injury issue and missed time for Brandon Aiyuk. So anytime you have a setback with a hamstring and you have a guy behind you playing as well as Trent's played, and I know that Trent wasn't a first-round draft pick, so that might not be as obvious with the talent level, but he's been a hell of a football player since he's been here. Aiyuk's been a little inconsistent because he's been in and out with his injury. Again, Shanahan goes back to the injury explanation for this, which people are just refusing to hear or read or whatever. And that's what we felt was the best chance for us last week. Aiyuk still got a chance to get that spot up and not rotate as much. Trent just doesn't make that very easy. So these 3 days are important in practice, how we balance out our game plan, how we balance out our routes. And I'm happy with Aiyuk. It's nothing against Aiyuk. Let's just stop right there. If Brandon Aiyuk were in the doghouse, if Kyle Shanahan were somehow upset about this beyond this hamstring issue and beyond standard NFL missed time due to the hamstring issue, do you really think that he would say, I'm happy with Aiyuk, it's nothing against Aiyuk? I'm also just happy with Trent too, and I think both of them can continue to get better. I'll make this big again so you could read this. I'm not trying to single out any specifics because it's like every player you've got to grow in every single area. So this isn't like we're punishing Aiyuk or something, another obvious tell, because Trent got even reps with him or we rotated those guys. I'm not going to sit here and say he's got to do A, B, or C to get back out there. It's more we've been practicing the last month, and one guy has been there every day, and the quarterback's got a lot of confidence in him. If he wants to be out there every single play, he's got to be a lot better than the guy behind him. This last quote right here, I'll highlight it. If he wants to be out there every single play, he's got to be a lot better than the guy behind him. That's the quote that everybody is pulling out of context right now and saying that it's Shanahan sending some kind of broad overarching message. No, it's Shanahan just matter-of-factly speaking the truth. Brandon Aiyuk hasn't been out there every day. He had a big year last season, and because of his relative unavailability recently due to the hamstring injury, he hasn't been able to separate himself as far as rapport with the 49ers quarterbacks goes in any kind of significant way. And because Trent Sherfield's been really good, they're splitting reps. There's no big deal. Now, when Aiyuk is a lot better than Trent Sherfield, as he should be, because he's a first-round draft pick, obviously, and as I think he will be as soon as he gets more time to develop his rapport with 49ers quarterbacks, he'll be out there a lot more than Trent Sherfield. And that's exactly what Kyle Shanahan was saying. Kyle Shanahan is saying 1 + 1 = 2, and we have a loud minority out there screaming, saying, no, Kyle Shanahan is saying 1 + 1 = 3, when Kyle Shanahan is actually saying 1 + 1 = 2. Do you want more evidence? Well, let's just look to see what Kyle Shanahan says when a player is actually in the doghouse. This is Kyle Shanahan's quote about Dante Pettis in 2019. He's still trying to earn a role on this team and still is showing what he's capable of doing consistently. He's had his opportunities. The more he doesn't take advantage of his opportunities, the less opportunities he gets. He did get a couple last night because of injury, and I didn't think he made them. On top of that, Dante Pettis was relegated to playing with the backups during the preseason in 2019 with the 49ers, around the time that Kyle Shanahan made some of those comments. The first one was 2019, the second one was a little bit later. But anyway, that's what an actual doghouse looks like when Kyle Shanahan's talking about it. And that's why the Brandon Aiyuk situation is nothing like the Dante Pettis one. Again, 3 times Kyle Shanahan alluded to the hamstring injury for Brandon Aiyuk, and nowhere in Kyle Shanahan's quote was he as terse, as abrupt, and as negative as he was when he was talking about Dante Pettis. Guys, people got it wrong when Kyle Shanahan was talking about Jimmy Garoppolo this offseason because they took quotes out of context. They only heard what they wanted to hear. Well, you have to hear everything. And if you hear everything, you look at this entire quote. And if you look at this entire quote, you see the exact context. I told everybody after the 49ers had their press conferences around the time of the draft, and Kyle Shanahan said that everybody's going to die by Sunday or whatever the quote was about Jimmy Garoppolo. I tweeted, hey, you need to look at the full context here. Kyle Shanahan's still planning on keeping Jimmy Garoppolo around. Of course, people kicked, screamed, didn't believe me, and they only pointed at that one line because they only wanted to hear, they only heard what they wanted to hear. And it comes down to that. This is the same thing. People only hear what they want to hear because they want drama, they want clicks, they want whatever. The truth of the matter is that this is actually what Kyle Shanahan said, and this is something that tells a much different story. Anyway, everybody have a good afternoon. I am off to get some work done. Take care.